Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants, and of course I am your host, your YouTube messiah, and often imitator, never duplicated, Superstar Tim Vicious. Gonna go over WrestleMania Backlash as we was in Providence, Rhode Island. Emphasis on the Providence part, just thought it was a little interesting thing. All the little commercials that they aired for the pay-per-view specifically, or premium event, however you want to refer to it now, they specifically kept mentioning in Providence, in Providence, in Providence. Just little things, just notice. Kind of caught my eye. Either way, hell of a show. Hell of a fucking show. I absolutely loved it. There was only one stinker on that show, and I'm pretty sure you're all going to agree with me when we get to it. But first things first, let's start the show. Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes, round 2. And good God almighty, this had some really, really good back and forth at the feeling out to start out. You know, really dug on how it was. It dug on how it felt like a way different layout, or not layout, but I want to get this right. The match felt different compared to on how their previous one at WrestleMania did. That's what I want to say. This was damn good. I fucking loved the ungodly hell out of this match. It was fucking good. I can't stress that enough. It was, wow. A lot of good action in it. Both guys put it all out there. You know, I just mentioned a little bit ago, mentioning about noticing little things. This, I think, was the first time Seth Rollins actually wore his WrestleMania gear on a separate show. So, yeah, there's that. It was a decent match. It was a hell of a way to start the show, you know. Always say you want to start the show hot. Well, this started out hot. Match came to an end when Seth went for an Okada roll. Cody actually countered it. And Seth, he did the Okada roll, had a handful of tights. Cody countered it, did the same thing. This is just me, but I can never understand. What the hell is the significance behind holding the tights? You know, you hold the set of tights right there, yet you see like 1/8, you know, you run the risk of seeing like 1/18 of the wrestler's ass crack, but I don't get it. It doesn't give extra leverage. Nobody actually ever believes that gives extra leverage. Just what? Yeah. Either way, Cody got the win. Seth was all sorts of pissed off, yelling at the ref about it. The following night on Raw, Cody had a one-on-one match with Theory for the U.S. title, and just as Cody was in the grasp of winning it and becoming the American Nightmare and new U.S. champ, which the United States champion, the American Nightmare, actually does have a pretty nice ring to it when you think about it. Just food for thought. Just as Cody was on the grasp of winning it, next thing you know, Seth came out, beat the tar out of Cody, said, this isn't over until I say it's over, blah, 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 blah. So I'm thinking rematch, Hell in a Cell pay-per-view coming up. That's just me. Next up, we got Omos going against Bobby Lashley. Omos coming out with MVP by his side this time. Now, Bobby right out the gate, you know, started throwing shots, slugging at Omos to start. Omos eventually hits the brakes on that and starts hitting him with the power game. Bobby wound up leading the pace for the match, though, which, okay, I get that can sound a little confusing, especially when you're just hearing it based off of my perspective and my way of watching it, but yeah, the big man was doing the big man, big monstrous heel. He's doing all the big monstrous heel stuff, but it was like Lashley, it felt like Lashley was dictating how he should go. You know, just by watching. It was a good match. I thought, you know, my first thought was, Jesus Christ, I feel sorry for whoever follows that Seth Cody match. And Omos and Lashley, they followed it, and oh my God, they kept up with that pace. Now, I'm not saying that it was just as good or better than the previous match, but I'm saying it kept up with the pace for the amount of excitement to keep you on your feet like, wow, you know, to make it must watch almost. Match came to an end when MVP wound up cracking Bobby with the cane when the ref wasn't looking. Ref was arguing with Omos about something. Bobby was in between the ropes. MVP then came over, whack, cracked him with the cane, and then ran off. And then Omos did that two-handed choke slam of his. 1, 2, 3. That was it. The following night on Raw, Bobby Lashley MVP wound up doing the VIP lounge. There they are gloating about on how they beat the almighty Bobby Lashley. And then Cedric comes out looking like, hey, you know, we can do this again, you know, with your brains, Omos powers, and my technical abilities. We can be unstoppable. Doesn't that sound like a great idea, guys? No, it don't. Shoot, we're done. Bobby Lashley then comes out, destroys Cedric, then knocks Omos out the ring. MVP runs off. Then they set it up so next week on Raw we're going to get a solid steel cage match between Bobby Lashley and Omos, which, way cool. Next up we got Edge versus AJ Styles, and AJ was hot right out the gate, man, just wanting to go all out ballistic on Edge, like straight up pissed off. Edge wound up working on AJ's shoulder for the night during the course of the match, which AJ, to his credit, worked it like, okay, yeah, can't really use it like I want to. So basically working with a handicap, and yeah, I said this before, and you know, the one thing that I do like that they use with the therapy tape, the rock tape, K-tape, whatever you want to call it, the therapy tape, they put it on there. It's basically like the modern day wrapping a bandage around a part. Like, you know, on how like you used to see wrestlers with bandages over their ribs to say, oh, they got damaged ribs. You know, now you can just put athletic tape on a certain spot, like on an arm, and say, oh, they got a damaged arm. Same thing. But yeah, I like that. Just the little, again, it's the little nuances that make the bigger picture worthwhile. Really dug on how Edge was working on AJ's shoulder. Both guys really just put up a damn good match. I absolutely loved it. Match came to an end when Damian Priest actually came down, was just in the walkway, not ringside, but walkway, as per the stipulation. He was not ringside. He got up to, you know, like kind of like one of those people like, oh, I'm going to get closer, I'm getting closer, oh, I'm right at the border. And then next, you know, Finn came out, them two started slugging. All the while that's going on. So that keeps Priest out of it. Next thing you know, AJ, he can't hop on the ropes to do the phenomenal form, so improvise, adapt, and overcome. What's he do? Climbs up to the top, sizes him up with a good arm, and just as he's about to jump off, a mysterious hooded figure throws AJ off of the top rope, which then Edge then knocks him down, puts him in a crossface, and then a sleeper while having the crossface in. I kid you not, it was, yeah, he did. He had a crossface in, and then while still having the crossface in, then moved around to putting the sleeper in. Edge got the win. Afterwards, then they revealed that the hooded figure was Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley came out, hair dyed black, wearing black lipstick, looking like a really buff goth Wednesday Addams, which kind of scared me, but kind of gave me a boner at the same time. Moving forward, before I get brain dusted for that comment. Wait, we can edit that out, right? We can't? Oh, fuck, I'm gonna get hit for that. Moving forward, they then proceeded to come out the following night on Raw. Edge, whole new haircut, almost like Rhea Ripley-like, talking about on how Damian's a punishment, Rhea's wrath, basically. I'm paraphrasing, mind you. And then had Rhea Ripley go and murder Liv Morgan, which gave me my moment of the night for laughing at the angry Liv Morgan fangirls who were crying and complaining about Liv not getting a win. Then Damian Priest proceeded to have a match with Finn Balor, which then, yeah, they got the win on that, so that's that. Next up, we had Ronda Rousey going against Charlotte Flair in an I Quit match, and I will say this right now. This was 1,000 times better than their match at WrestleMania. You know, no lie. Like I said at WrestleMania, that match just felt like it sucked all the air out of the fun for the night. This was the complete opposite. This was fucking fun and nuts, and wow, I dug the shit out of it. Highlight of it was good part way through the match. There's a small little kid there, don't know quite how old, somewhere between like 8 or 13. Had on Fiend mask, dreadlocks and all, and you just Pat McAfee on the commentary without missing a beat. Was that the Fiend? Just like, that is the most fucking cool thing ever. This is why sometimes it absolutely pays to have a fan do commentary. Yeah, no lie. So as far as the match went, man, both women, they started out hot. You know, it was big action all around. At one point, at the entryway, they had a duel with Singapore Canes. Ronda had one. Charlotte, she had one in both hands. My first thought was, we gonna get like a lightsaber looking like kind of fight? Like, we getting like a Star Wars thing here? And then Charlotte put them both together. Wham! Knocked the cane out of Ronda's hand. Started beating on her. Then Ronda got it, beating on her. Then they fought partway through the crowd. And this was, honest to goodness, the most confusing part of the match for me. Charlotte had Ronda Rousey rigged, like, you know those rails, they have the holes through them? She had her sandwiched between like that, bending her backwards against it. Having the ref asking her, do you quit? Do you quit? Ronda, no, bitch, no, bitch, no, that kind of shit. For whatever reason, Charlotte let go of the damn move. Why? Why? Listen, everyone has a fucking breaking point. Even Superman has his own goddamn limits. She would have. I'm just thinking, why would you let go of that? That is like when you're playing one of the wrestling games and you have somebody in a submission and then like within a matter of seconds they let go of it and you're like, why would they let go of the submission in the middle of the ring? I mean, if it's a rope break or if somebody hits you, that's one thing, but why? Ugh. Either way, they then proceeded to get back to the ring. At one point, Ronda had a armbar locked in on Charlotte, going upside down across the ring, or across the ropes. Charlotte said no, eventually rolled herself to the outside. That nasty sounding thud when Ronda hit, you know, it's like one of those landings where it just sounded worse than it was. But at one point, then Charlotte did natural selection on a chair, then proceeded to go do a figure eight. No, bitch, no, blah, 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 blah. And then eventually Charlotte props up a chair, gets a mic. You know, this is your last chance. You want to give up, bitch? Which they threw out bitch like good morning to each other non-stop during this match. Like, damn, can't y'all say something else? I mean, like, listen, I get that the show is PG and you can only get away with saying so many curses, but you don't have to say, like, have every other word be bitch. Like, fuck. Ugh. Either way. Excuse me. Then eventually, Charlotte made a remark to about Ronda's kid, which then Ronda then proceeded to snap, get all kinds of crazy mom strength, put an arm bar on Charlotte, threw the chair and had it positioned to where Charlotte's arm was wrenching backwards, using the chair for leverage on it. Then Charlotte yelled, "I quit, I quit, I quit." So your winner and new SmackDown Women's Champion, Ronda Rousey. And according to the rumors, and we all know, take rumors with a grain of salt, Charlotte did that so that way she could take some time off because she's getting married, honeymoon, blah, 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 blah. Listen, if that's the case, okay, who gives a fuck? Listen, anytime somebody's getting married, yeah, let them have a weekend. Give them, give them a weekend, give them a week, whatever. Let the happy couple have time to go and, do what happy couples do when they settle down. Now we come to the stinker of the night. Ugh. Happy Corbin versus Madcap Moss. And this, listen, I tried. I honest to God, I really did try. But my attention could not stick with this match. It felt like background noise for me. It was, I personally, I had no interest in this match. And I'm not saying this to be disparaging to either guy. It's just, neither guy appeals to me to where I'm like, I've never been a big fan of Corbin. And I'm sure as hell not going to cheer for somebody walking around wearing Daisy Dukes and suspenders. Just, no, that's no way. No way, Jose. And, yeah, just, ugh. That and, my God, it went way longer than it should have. Ugh. Excuse me. Madcap Moss got the win. Corbin, he wound up doing that boss man run around the post thing he does. And then Moss got when Corbin got in, Moss did a sunset flip on him and then got the pin, 1, 2, 3, yeah. So now, thankfully this washes away that horrible taste of that match. The main event of the night. Drew McIntyre, Riddle, Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns, your WWE Universal World Heavyweight Champion, and the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos. Here we go. Hell of a trios match right here. Absolutely fucking loved it. Faces wound up bleeding at the start. The baby faces, they were leading at the start. Riddle wound up becoming the punching bag for a bit. And Drew wound up getting the tag in systematically right at the same time Roman did. And when Roman got tagged in, he just looked. He was like, oh, fuck. This is not what I wanted. But got in there with Drew, and man, them two were working good together, tearing it up. And, I will say this. When them two do eventually go at it and lock horns for the title, it's going to be a hell of a match. I know firsthand experience seeing them two go at it at the house show back in April. But it was a damn good match when Randy eventually got the hot tag in. I know it made it sound like Drew got the hot tag in, but it wasn't. It was more so like both guys got tagged in at the same time. That's what that was. But Randy, when he got the hot tag in, man, Randy Orton went on fire. Fire! Wound up going nuts on everyone. And then eventually Riddle got another hot tag in. And yeah, just straight up mayhem. At one point, in front of the commentators table, everyone was getting the shit knocked out of them. Randy got knocked out at one point for the remainder of the match. Drew got taken out. And the match came to an end when Riddle wound up popping an RKO onto I think it was Jey Uso, either Jey, I think, off the top rope and wound up popping an RKO on him off the top rope. What Riddle did not know though was Roman did a blind tag on him as he was doing it. And then Roman came in, hit a spear on Riddle. 1, 2, 3. Your winners, the Usos and Roman Reigns. The following night on Raw, Riddle and Orton, they came out, they gloated a small bit talking about on how they may have lost, but they tore it up in that match. And then they said they're going to be they still want that unified tag title match. So what they're going to do, they're going to go to SmackDown this Friday coming up and confront not the Usos, but the tribal chief himself, Roman, to insist that he give them the match. And Riddle wound up saying, and if Roman says no, well, we really know he don't have any faith in his cousins. Which, ooh, sick burn. But yeah, I will say this. The Corbin Madcap Moss match aside, this was a hell of a show. I fucking loved it. Take out that one match, whew, solid show all the way through and through from start to finish. So, with that said, folks, that is it for this week's show. So, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes when you can. Look for me on the Twitter at TimVicious. Also, thank you to my executive producer, Ali Ray Ben, who did provide the music for this week's show. Make sure y'all check it out. It's on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, and all that good shit. Details are down below. Also, thank you to contributor of the show, LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. They're a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of men, a whole lot of attractive women wearing a little bit of nothing. Also, folks, don't forget to check out whatamanure.net for some vicious rants apparel. Help support the show. And don't forget to follow these cool-ass cats already on the Twitter. Kenny Killer Disney _IB Diabolica RA Sergeant Curry Pants and Dubs in your face. And folks, like the shirt says, if you love me great, you hate me, fuck you.